Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show, and I'm really looking forward to this one, Ando.
Me too,
This
mate.
guy was an exceptional footballer. He played with Carlton, he won a McGarry medalist, he's won a Foss Williams medal, he's played in state games, he has done it all in the footy, and he's been good enough to come and give us a bit of his time. He's a busy man. Talk about Brett Blackwell. Brett, great to see you, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be in.
Mate, hard to know where to start, but just a quick overview, mate. You're up in Queensland playing footy. Next thing you're down in Melbourne playing footy. I mean, that's kind of standard stuff these days, but back when you did it, that was a little unheard of, mate, to go from Queensland to Victoria to play. How did that eventually?
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I grew up playing rugby league and rugby union and soccer and always loved AFL footy. Dad played AFL footy and I played as a junior, and we did play club footy, but it was very minor. It was not a great standard. But all I ever wanted to do was play AFL footy. So lucky enough to play in some state games and play pretty well in those games and end up getting drafted. And before you knew it, I was going from Hervey Bay, where there was no traffic lights, to living in Melbourne, which was pretty scary.
Big move.
But just an amazing, yeah. And to end up at the Carlton Footy Club, which is, you know, one of the biggest clubs, the most history, fantastic, just good people.
Great players too.
Amazing.
That you're playing with.
And yeah,
Wow.
to walk into a room with Silvani and Braddles and McKay and Sexton and Rice and Ratton and Brown and Koutafidis and, you know, guys you'd looked up to, Diesel, Sticks, just in awe more than anything.
Mate, you talked about traffic lights in Hervey Bay. Round 1, 1999, mate. You're playing your first game. Carlton v Essendon, so it's a pretty big game too. It's not your run-of-the-mill one. How'd that work out for you? Get there on time?
Yeah, round 1, 99, 100,000 people at the G. Excited little kid from Queensland. Not really used to Melbourne traffic yet. Got stuck in traffic, Swanston Street. Listening to the radio, still remember to this day, clear as day, listening to Triple M. Jason Dunstall comes on the radio and says the Carlton boys have just run out to warm up, and I'm still sitting white as a ghost, sitting in my car as an 18-year-old. No mobile phone back in those days. Just sheer panic. Didn't know whether to get out and run, whether to just, mayhem.
So obviously
mayhem.
you got there before the siren at least.
Got there with about 5 minutes before the siren, so basically valet parking, they were waiting out the front for me, took the car, jumped out, ran in, got changed, ran out, siren.
Wow. And
Round 1,
how'd you play?
100,000 people.
How'd you play? Yeah.
Can't remember.
You can't remember? It was just all a big blur?
Obviously I do now because you watch it back, you watch the tape. But as far as highlights from the night, I remember running out onto the race and just thinking, what am I doing in this? Just the Coliseum, MCG. Thursday night, round 1, 99. Carlton Essendon, both teams flying for the last few years and just thinking, I'm in the wrong place.
Sneaky goal at all? Did you sneak one?
No, I didn't kick one that night. So I turned up late that night. The next week we played Collingwood.
Oh,
so back-to-back Essendon Cup, 2 in a row. I got there before the VFL team started. So there was
to make sure.
There was no way I was turning up late to that
Got there
one.
the night before with the sleeping bag or something. Hey, mate, you talked about some of the great players that you play with. I know Cooter's pretty well, and he's a ripping bloke. Was there someone in that time for you that took you under their wing and said, mate, we'll help you here, or did you kind of flounder a bit?
I think it was, for me, it was a little bit different. As a kid, you come into an AFL list and you spend 1, 2, 3 years developing and playing VFL. I played round 1, so I basically got thrown in with the greats of the footy club and missed a lot of that development, which probably in the long run probably hurt me a bit. But guys like Koutafidis, I was really close with. I lived with Ange Christie for a while. Aaron Hamill was a good one. His work rate and the way he held himself around the footy club and performed both in the gym and on the training track and in games was phenomenal. So probably those 3 more than anything.
Craig Bradley, obviously still running around and leading by example. That he would be 37, 38 at that stage.
Yeah,
he must have just been inspirational.
Braddles was, just the way, didn't say a lot, but when he did, you just sucked it up and listened. And again, the way he trained and the way he ran, and as a kid I was pretty fit and thought I could run, and you'd try and beat him in time trials, and you'd hang with him, think, puff the child, and then Braddles would just take off and leave you in his wake, and he basically put the tail between your legs and walk home.
Hey, mate, we're going to run out of time if we run out of time. So we'll try and jump ahead a little bit, mate. 2002, you've had your time with Carlton, come back, have a year with Westies, then over to Glenelg. 2006 is a super year for you, McGarry medalist year, but just before that, mate, you have to have an amputation on your finger. And then you come out that year and play probably the best footy you've played. Can you remember what got you into that mode for that year?
Yeah, it was... Getting the finger amputated was obviously a massive decision.
Yeah.
That came about halfway through 2005. I'd broken it, I'd dislocated it the years previous, and then we had surgery to repair it. And then basically day one pre-season, marked a footy, broke it again. So I carried that right through that 2005 year. Halfway through the year, I was getting injections to play because basically every time I'd mark the ball,
And that makes it too hard.
I'd break it.
Yep.
So and you just get a jab, play, can't feel it. Basically, not touch a footy. I had a bruise just below the palm of my hand where I'd mark the footy with my wrist rather than my hand during training and games. So I was sitting with the doctor pre-game and I said, "Doc, can't you just chop it off?" Because I don't know if you've ever had an injection in your hand, but the nerve endings are so sensitive.
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
So it feels like it's coming out the other side. And I said, "Doc, just chop it off." We sort of laughed about it. And then it was 3 or 4 weeks later, I said to the doc, I said, "Doc, is there anything we do?" And he said, "We can chop it off." More of a joke than anything. And I said, "Well, let's just do it." So then we put some wheels in motion, spoke to a couple of surgeons, finally found a plastic surgeon that would do it, and we had it amputated.
So did
What it does, though, is it gets you on the Dave Letterman show, mate.
It got
Some
you on the
people do anything
I was
to
going
get
to say
exposure,
that.
won't they?
Yeah, so that must have been like a whirlwind tour.
Yeah, that was hectic. So how that came about in the end, Neil Cross, ABC news reporter, commentated the SNFL back then. His favourite player growing up was my father.
Oh, right.
So there was a little bit of relationship. So Crossy and I had a good relationship. And it was the McGarry Medal Night 2005. And we're just sitting there having a chat. And he said, "What are you up to over the break? How's mum and dad?" And I said, "Well, actually, I'm going in tomorrow to get my finger chopped off." And he sort of looked at me funny. He said, "Well, can I come and have a chat in the morning, do a story?" So ABC being an international broadcast, that went around the world.
Yeah.
And somehow some news people picked it up, some TV shows picked it up. And one of those happened to be the David Letterman show.
And it happened that quickly.
Bang, yep.
And straight over to
So yeah, basically
studios?
I had it chopped off on the Wednesday, sorry. Spent Thursday, Friday in bed, crook from the anaesthetic. Went to work on the Monday, which was the footy club, and they said, "Look, we've had lots of people ringing us wanting to do reports and interviews with you." I said, "Yeah, hand them over, a couple of TV shows," thinking The Messenger, The Advertiser, possibly, maybe a Channel 7 or... and I got a phone call from this guy that said, "We'd love to have a chat and get you on the show." And I'm from the David Letterman show in New York. And then I started to think maybe it's a joke, and then went through the process. That was on the Monday. Got an email Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, flew out 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, was in New York on the Wednesday, went to air on the Thursday.
other guests? Who was Tom Cruise or...
No major. Sheryl Crow and her band played.
Major.
Terry Hatcher was pretty big back in those days. Superman had just come out. And a few others. So, it was a bit of fun.
Brett, some great stories, mate. So we've got to get you back next week. So make sure you're back because we've told everyone you're coming back next week.
Happy to come back.
Terrific.